Good afternoon. The person I chose to interview was my principal. I've already discussed or talked about her a few times in some of the papers I've written about being a charismatic leader. Well, I picture her as being a very charismatic leader. Not so much like Hamish Brewer charismatic, but she has some of those qualities and traits to her that make her a charismatic leader. When she first came to her school, she was very intimidating. And, we had, of course, in the world of teaching and education, there was rumblings about her style and how she was. And, there was mixed views on her, whether she was going to be like good and you're going to get along with her, or you're going to be the polar opposite and you weren't going to get along with her. But over the past few years of working with her, she has been a very charismatic leader. She is very willing to listen to what we have to say. She's very willing to help us reach our goals, whether those be independent goals in the classroom and even independent goals outside of work. We have personal goals that, she wants us to achieve. She's on board with that too. And I appreciate that about her because in education, it's so much about, fitting this mold or fitting this mold of teaching and what it is to be a good teacher. But she gives us the free will once she knows us and what we're capable of doing to, try new things in our classroom. Like I mentioned before, she allows us to kind of ability group in our classrooms because, not every principal does that, and not every, administrator or whatever position at other schools I've heard don't allow their teachers to do that. But she's allowed us to do that because she's seen the power of it. And she, even when we were at the end of the school, we were discussing our plans for the future, she was very on board with it. She's like, I know you and your co-teacher are very good with it. Like, I'm all for it as long as you are seeing results that are needed to help us be successful as a campus. I'm all for it. So go for it. So I love that about her. And I also love the lofty goals she sets for us, like, and the expectation. She sets the goals very high. For, schools, there's ratings, so there's the A, B, C, D, E, and F ratings. And for the past 2 years, we have been at a 79, and I know this year it has like frustrated her and killed her to no end that we are still at a 79. And we came into the school year hoping we were going to get the 80, but we didn't. We were 1 point away, which, it sucks, that we're 1 point away. But I think this year I can see where she is setting the bar even higher than what she did last year to help us get to the B, because she knows we have so much potential as teachers and our students. And sometimes that can be work against her being a charismatic leader and pushing us to no avail, which we already kind of feel the pressure of it now. But we know at the end, she's setting those high goals and those expectations for us to be successful so that we can achieve the most from our kids and our students. And it's not so much that us veteran teachers need that expectation being set so high, or for the newer teachers. And I think that just goes to show that she knows and she sees the potential in us. And I do appreciate that from her, because I think if we didn't have her being pushing us to those limits, we probably would not be there. And I also think, she also, a big part of the charismatic leadership is involving the community and the school as a whole. And I think she tries to do that. And I think what she learned from what she came from her previous school to our school is that the community in our school was not as close knit. Parents were not involved in the school or even with their own kids. And she is, trying this year. I can already see, her posting stuff on her little class dojo, which is like a little app for parents and for us to communicate with parents, and the parents to, communicate with the school. And she's posting more on that. She's definitely trying to get more people, more of the community involved in the students and in our school to help the students become successful, because without the parents, we can only do so much as teachers, because we only have them for so long. And we, for us, we need those parents to be involved to help push their kids as well. And I can see her, pushing for that too this year. So, I mean, as far as that goes with her, I love that about her, and I'm glad that she is pushing for that this year. I think that's one change from the previous few years with having her as our principal that has not been there. But as far as a leader, I think she's a great leader. She has these goals and these expectations, and I love them, and I'm glad she does have them, because if she didn't, even the great teachers would sit there and just kind of be lazy at times, because, I can be lazy at times too. If I don't have to work, there are days where I don't feel like working or I don't want to work, I'm not going to work as hard as I could. But knowing that there's a goal, there's an expectation that she has for us, it is beneficial for me and for everyone else. And I love that about her. And, I love her charismatic nature and leadership skills that she shows and has with us, because it is amazing. And I think through her, we are able to achieve a lot more than we are without her. That was kind of my discussion with my principal, aka charismatic leader. Thanks.